Today, I want to tell you a story of a shepherd and the dog from the lake. Once upon a time, by a clear blue lake edged with reeds and wildflowers, there lived a young shepherd. Every day he sat on the grassy bank watching his sheep graze and the fish sweep through the water. He loved the simple things, the ripples that danced across the lake, the way light folded on the surface, and the quiet company of the meadow. One afternoon, he saw a strange fight at the water's edge, a white rat and a black rat struggling fiercely. The black rat was stronger and meant to kill the white one. The shepherd's heart went out to the little wounded creature. He scooped it into his hand, blew gently to warm it, and trickled a drop of lake water into its mouth to revive it. At that moment, the lake began to swirl and glow. The water opened like a curtain, and a woman rose from its depths, graceful and otherworldly. She bowed to him and said, "You have saved the son of the subterranean king. Because of your kindness, my lord wishes to reward you. Close your eyes and climb upon my shoulders." When he closed his eyes and let her lift him beneath the surface, she warned him gently, "The palace and its treasures are illusions. Take only one real thing, the dog behind the inner door. Do not stay longer than 3 days, or you will forget your life on land." When the shepherd opened his eyes, he stood in a palace of coral and turquoise. Strange beings, half serpent, half human, feasted and danced. Before the subterranean king sat a throne wrapped in coils and crowned with serpents. For 3 days, the shepherd was honored and offered jewels and riches. But he remembered the woman's warning and only asked for the dog behind the door. At first the king refused, but the shepherd was stubborn in his one wish. Finally, the king handed him a small bundle and said, "Be careful and keep it clean." When the shepherd opened his eyes the next moment, he was back at the lake with a dog tucked under his arm. The animal looked plain enough, not at all the marvelous thing he had expected. Perhaps, he thought, the messenger had tricked him. That evening, to his surprise, he returned home to find his house swept clean, the stove warm, and a simple, delicious meal waiting. The next day, the same thing happened. Curious, he hid behind the door the following evening and watched. The dog slipped away, and in its place shed its skin. Behind it appeared a beautiful girl. She bathed, chanted an offering to the lake, and set the house in order. The shepherd cried out, grabbed the dog's skin, and threw it into the fire. The girl rose like smoke and explained, "I am the daughter of the subterranean king. The skin was my disguise. It kept me safe from notice. Because you burned it, our marriage will be tested. You have not harmed me, but trials will come." For a while they lived happily. The shepherd and the girl loved one another, and the dog, who had been more than a dog, tended their home. Then the king of the land who saw the girl grew jealous. Her beauty shone brighter than that of his many wives. He ordered the shepherd to perform impossible tasks, or else give up his wife. The first command was to clear a whole mountainside of trees in a day. Impossible for one man. The shepherd feared, but his wife whispered, "Go to the lake and ask the king of the Lu for help." He did, and a wave rose, leaving a tiny box on the shore. He opened it on the mountain, and hundreds of swords flew out, cutting the trees in an instant. The king was furious, so he demanded the shepherd prepare fields for sowing within a day. Again, the shepherd borrowed another box from the lake. This one poured out thousands of hoes that tilled the earth at once. The king sneered, and next demanded the shepherd gather every single seed he had scattered. Despair almost broke the shepherd's spirit until he asked the lake once more, A box of birds burst forth, and, with eager wings, gathered every seed and returned it. Angry now beyond measure, the king challenged the shepherd to a final test. Battle. Winner take the bride. The shepherd's wife said calmly, "Borrow the people box." He did. When he opened it before the king's army, tiny warriors swarmed out, and under the shepherd's careful command, defeated the king's forces. The captain of the defeated king fell. The army dispersed, and peace returned. The shepherd kept his wife, and together they lived with prosperity and quiet joy. He never forgot the lessons learned under the lake. Kindness repaid in strange and wonderful ways, humility before power, and the courage to accept help when it is given. Moral of the story: true riches are not only jewels or gold, but the quiet gifts of kindness, trust, and loyalty. When you give without expecting, help may come from places you least imagine. And when you face impossible trials, courage and humility, plus the wisdom to ask for help, can turn the impossible into the possible. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.